Didn't hit. Here we are. Hello,
Oh,
everybody. Welcome to my spring mini series of Lunch and Learn every Friday at noon. We did one last week. If you missed that one was really cool. We spoke last week about circus arts therapy, and we really got into like talking about balancing and juggling. And I was just telling Katina that I posted one of the clips and it's getting great reviews. So if you've missed that, y'all need to go back and check that out. But in the meantime, let me introduce myself for those of you that don't know me. I am Helen Panos, Dynamis Learning owner and founder. We are a K through 12 tutoring SAT, ACT prep company, and we do executive functioning. We also advocate for kids if they need help with 504 plans or IEPs. And I have 23 tutors now. Actually, about to hire a couple more. And so we're going to hit 25. And everybody has great different specialties. Actually just asked one of my tutors to do a biology for this coming week. So he's done environmental science. Never thought I needed an environmental science tutor, but there we were. We needed one. So, yep, and we're doing great. Actually, this quarter has been terrific for Dynamis Learning, and we appreciate all the referrals and people coming back, people that have been with us a long time, continue on and they see results. So let me introduce Katina Dunkerly. She is one of our newer executive function coaches. How are you doing? I know you're
I'm
kind of
doing
far
well. I'm doing well. How are you?
away. Good. So tell us a little bit about your background, Katina.
So I have quite an interesting and pretty long background. So I will summarize it in it's like one of those people where it's like and then. But I've been in the world of disabilities for over 20 years at this point. And I have worked in multiple different aspects. I do have a master's in autism and behavioral disorders, as well as some specialization in different aspects of ADHD, vision disabilities, multiple disabilities, communication disorders, and so forth. And in all of this, in part of my life, I have also been a circus art therapist to address needs in executive functioning, as well as social disorders in a setting that is very different than a typical therapeutic setting.
Yeah, that's awesome. And why I asked Katina to do a little mini series with me because she has such an interesting and different type of background. So let's talk about. I want to make sure everybody knows what executive functioning is. So tell them a little bit about, in layman terms, what that would be, Katina.
Yeah, briefly, executive functioning is when there is a dysfunction in the frontal cortex of our brains that kind of mismatches a lot of information that's coming in and out. So, this can affect memory, it can affect focus, time management, organization, task initiation, emotional regulation is another big one. So,
Mm,
there is a lot of things that our frontal cortex really is in control of, and
mm,
we don't always have that control over it when we have executive functioning disability, which ADHD is within the realm of an executive functioning
yeah,
disability.
yeah, and even I'd say maybe anxiety because that kind of keeps you from
Mhm.
autism. I guess would be another one, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
those
for sure.
Yeah, those are like your top 3. And matter of fact, I was just on a virtual networking this morning out of Roswell, Georgia. And the guy does a nonprofit grant writing. And he says, "Oh, I can relate to what Helen just said because I focus more on executive functioning." And he goes, "Because I'm autistic myself. And I could tell
Mhm.
y'all, I have dysfunction in executive dysfunction realm."
Yeah, and
So, but
especially now that we see so much crossover with ADHD these days, because I still remember the days when it was said that you were either autistic or you were ADHD and that there was no overlap. And now we're actually seeing there's quite a bit of overlap, and there are
yeah,
some people that actually are both. So I
Yeah.
think it's really important to start to look at all of the different symptoms that you have and start to see some of the different disabilities and differences that might be crossing over
Hmm.
is always a good place to look.
And I said yesterday when I was networking to a group, because I talked about executive functioning again, I said, well, a lot of people may look at it, they see their children, this is how it would show up. The
Mhm.
child is not listening to you, but they're totally acting up. They won't do their work because you just think they're being lazy. Or, just you start yelling at them. And this is what the result is. You start yelling at them as a mom because you're like, you're just being lazy. Or I don't understand why you don't just put the effort in and get this figured out, this math or whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of how it shows up because back in my day,
Mhm.
I'm a little bit older than you by about 20 years. So back in our day, that's why you're now seeing adults that need executive function. I just saw one
Mhm.
post about their adult needing executive function and who can I reach out to. So I piped up and said, we can help you because we do
Oh,
sixth through 12th grade, but we also do adults. And that's now adults are not thinking they had this, but if they think back, that's what it was. They just didn't know what it was back in the day.
it's
They
so
called
true.
it
That's so
lazy.
common. Yeah, and I mean, I as a person who grew up with ADHD, and at least having the knowledge that I was ADHD, even from being a small child, that helped me so much because of the amount of times I've heard in my life, "You're being lazy. You're not working hard enough. You're not doing this." When on the inside, what do you
You're
mean? Like, I'm trying, like, oh my gosh, and you know what? Oh, the 2 words that I hate the most, try harder.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. I just there'd be so many times that I would be doing my best and people are like, if you put a little more effort into it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
And
"What?"
and I can see how a teenager or a child is going, what are they talking about? I am doing it. And then they don't say it out loud like, no, I am trying my best because, well, we know these words best, better, good, bad are all
Mhm.
subjective or opinion words, right? So I bet a child's thinking to themselves, what? But I think I mean, and then you start doubting yourself, I would think
You
that,
do, and
wait a minute.
it causes more of a silent suffering for a lot of people, which is also leads to a lot of adults not getting diagnosed until later, because you
Hmm.
know, they hear these words, but they don't have the knowledge that they're not lazy, they're ADHD. And so when you don't have that proper terminology, it does affect your psyche at a whole different level, which is why we're seeing a lot of the adults coming out and having a lot of these deep rooted issues
Hmm.
that they're only now realizing were actually related to ADHD or
Yeah.
autism.
And yesterday when I was networking, and they're all adult women, you should have seen the look. I always love it when I throw out, let's just talk about executive functioning today because y'all know what tutoring is, right? I said, but let's talk about this term because you may not know it. And
Mhm.
when I start describing it, I say, how many people have maybe procrastinated about getting something started? And I'm talking about even for your business, or you're like, oh, I need to go do the laundry, or I need to go empty the dishwasher, right? I said, or organization. What does your desk look like? Just saying, your car, your office.
Mhm.
So then you start saying all these things, and you can kind of look at people's faces, and they're like thinking, "Do I have that? Oh, maybe I have that."
Yes, and even within all of that, so much of this is actually led from dysregulation and having so much dysregulation within you that you don't really fully understand why you're doing certain actions that you're doing. Like, I know I have to start this project. Why am I not starting this project? How come I am on TikTok right now? Why am I choosing to do the laundry now? Like, or you know, that stove didn't need to be cleaned, but now it is sparkling.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting to see how once you understand what's going on within your own body, you can then better tackle these moments in your life that in the past have seemed really difficult to manage.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I'm talking more about it when I'm networking. But I know today we're going to talk about movement and focus and how physical activity strengthens executive function. So, what is movement? Why does movement help students focus and learn better?
So, movement is regulating. It is one of the most regulating things that we can do for our brain and for our body.
Mm,
And the biggest thing is our nervous system is what regulates the brain and the body. So, if our nervous system is out of whack, the rest of our body, we're just going to be fighting an uphill battle until we can get the nervous system in check. And that is where movement comes in. It is one of the fastest ways for us to give our nervous system and our brains a quick jolt to change whatever is going on in the brain that is not letting us do the thing.
mhm. Yeah, I love exercising, so it's good to hear that they're pushing that more and more because it helps with regulation. You could tell, like if I'm stressed myself, just as an adult, you're busy, you're a mom, you got to deal with the kids. Try to take some time away, whether you're ADHD, executive functioning or not. Um,
Mhm.
Exercise, even walking, can help
Right.
relieve
And
that.
this is also one of the biggest things is that I think so often we feel like we need to know that taking a moment to do these things and these movements, it's not an option. Like, you do need to try to find some way to do it in your day because again,
My
the
point.
rest of your day is such an uphill battle. So why not start off with a way that with tools that you can use to make sure that you are already starting off at a really good level and setting
Mhm.
yourself up for success instead of setting yourself up for struggle.
And I think one of those executive function tools, if I'm not mistaken, or tips is tie it to something else you already do in the morning, right? If you're going to
Yeah.
brush your teeth, or I don't know, if you do prayer or you do a journaling, then you immediately, that kind of triggers in your mind to go ahead and do even a 20-minute exercise. It doesn't have to be, everybody thinks they have to go work out at the gym for an hour to see a
No.
difference. That's not true. All my exercises are no more than 30 minutes.
Oh, same. I am I love doing the like 15 to 20-minute Pilates videos on YouTube, especially
Mhm.
because a lot of the aspects of Pilates use resistance bands. So that
Yes.
adds that weight, that resistance that is so good for our brains.
Yeah.
And finding things that naturally will give you movement, like music, is also a really great way to get movement into your day. I know for me, one of the best ways that I have found that will drag me out of bed, because I know myself, as many ADHDers, that transition is not
Yeah.
always the easiest in the morning. So I have a playlist that I will play, and like
Uh-huh.
the first song is like, okay, you're laying in bed, you're gonna just start stretching your body a little bit, and then the next song, it's a little more. I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually get out of bed. And by the third song, I'm like doing a little actual movement. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I just went from not being able to get out of bed at all to actually moving on with my day just within 3 songs. And because I didn't shock my system by being like, all right, I'm going to play the most aggressive song first, and that's going to get me out of bed. No, no, no. I
That's right.
trans I transition. I have my
Yeah,
little routine. But
that's a good idea.
movement in the morning, stretching in bed is such a great way to really start and activate your nervous system. Sitting up, putting your feet on the floor, giving your body just a second before you stand up is another way to really help keep our nervous system at a more regulated level instead of getting out of bed and like
Yep.
zooming straight to the next thing, running to the bathroom. Oh my God, I got to do this. Oh my gosh. And which is also why when we, hit sleep, I know hitting sleep on the alarm clock is so tempting, but when we're doing that and we're not giving ourselves the time to really start our morning with intention,
Mm.
and with that natural movement, we are really, again, we're setting ourselves up for struggle instead of setting ourselves up for success, because you're getting up with a higher cortisol, like your heart is already racing. Oh my God, I'm late. Oh, I have to do this. And you're running here, you're running there, and you're not getting good intentional movement. And instead, you're getting more movement that's just stressing you out.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's not only for adults, folks, that's for your children too. I mean,
Because
they
I
can
think
do
one
it.
of the best things as a child when I was growing up, and I always say this, that I think some of my teachers and even my parents were people before their time, because my parents woke me up a solid 30 minutes before I actually really needed to be up, giving me that time to
Mhm.
just ease into the day. I remember even as a teen, I would put MTV on in the morning and, listen to the music, start getting some movement going, eat breakfast. So having that time to actually adjust it to your day is, oh my, like you're doing
Mm.
so much for your brain by not hitting snooze constantly and getting 5 more minutes of sleep. No, 5 minutes of stretching and movement in the morning is going to do so much more for you in the long run of your day than hitting that button
Yeah.
3 to
That's
4
true.
times.
And a
It
matter of fact, when I was at Level Creek in Gwinnett last week for their carnival, when I'd asked a question when they did the spin the wheel and they came up with the question of how do you learn better? Almost every child said to me, you'll find this interesting. They said music with
Mhm.
music. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think there was one or two that didn't say music, but the majority
Oh,
of them,
oh, sorry.
the majority said music. And it came to my mind that when my cousin was at Emory undergrad and I was studying, I was a teen and he was already in at Emory. He was a little older, and he'd come over to our house. Sometimes he'd be studying in the other room, but he would be blaring the music, and I'm going, "Hey, knock knock. I can't, I can't concentrate with your music
Mhm.
blaring." But he could, and he's a successful neurosurgeon today.
Well, music actually connects in a completely different center of our brain, and has really been shown to improve learning, improve memory, cognition. There's so much that happens through music. I mean, if you think about children's songs, singing the ABCs, singing a
Mhm.
weather song,
Yeah.
and even in my work with
Schoolhouse Rock.
exactly, so not like I mean, trust me, I know a lot of the world because of the Animaniacs. But but one of the things that is always been something that's been interesting is even when I've been working with non-speaking children, once music starts to play, I've worked with some kids that will all of a sudden start singing and will start being able to work through
Mhm.
music. I worked with a little, not little, oh my gosh, he's so big now, but this young autistic boy at the time, he's a grown man now, and he struggled so hard to read. But once we started reading in Gregorian chant,
Oh,
his reading
wow.
skills went up, his comprehension skills went up, and it was just a very interesting change. And instead of just reading in a plain tone and reading with that melodic tune, that triggered a different part of his brain that got everything to just
Wow.
go and do. And then the
Yeah.
same thing goes with movement. It triggers a lot of different parts of the brain. We even see a lot of children who are non speaking have better ability or vocal ability once they've been on a swing set, once they've been off of a roller coaster, in a fast moving
Mm.
vehicle. Like it's very interesting how motion, movement, and music triggers so many parts of our brain that just activate even just down to the specific parts like our frontal cortex that's in charge of all of our
Well,
executive functioning.
so now that you say that, I was thinking about these video games and
Mhm,
boys, right? Because that is usually fast moving, even though they're not moving, but they're
mhm.
watching it. I have a feeling that has something to do with helping them too, in terms of maybe ADHD or, I mean,
Yeah, there's actually now I have not played them myself. I grew up in a household that did not have video games. So I was one of the few kids that, I'd have to go to my friends to play Nintendo.
mm,
Um, but they now actually have video games that are intended for children with ADHD and autism and other executive functioning disabilities that are actually aimed to help retrain and rewire the brain through these video games. And it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. And if you talk to your doctors, I know many of them can even be prescribed.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That might be the big new AI thing to come.
Yeah. Well, it's actually been around for around a decade, maybe a little
Huh.
bit more. And a lot of the video games that you see that have a better therapeutic value are the ones that are a little bit slower, that you have to figure things out. Especially one of the interesting things is to tell your kids to not do the cheats. Don't go on YouTube and find out how you get this coin. Like, doing it yourself teaches you how to mentally map. It teaches
Mhm.
skill progression. It teaches patience
Critical
and
thinking.
waiting, rewards. It teaches so much. So even in the video games that they're playing now, it's just, a lot. I know a lot of people will go straight to the internet and find out what all the secrets are.
Yeah.
It
Trivia.
happens. So
That's funny.
instead, try to just really use that mental energy during those games.
And I think we've already answered the second question I was going to ask you, which is what type of physical activity is helpful for executive functioning? Is there anything you want to add?
Well, we talked last time about a lot of these activities. So, juggling again is always a really great one to help get the brain going. Cross lateral activities in the morning are, it's honestly like a coffee it's like a better coffee for the brain and for the body.
A little
Uh,
healthier.
yeah, exactly. So, things like running are actually a really great morning
Mm,
activity.
I
I
bet
will say
you
I am
roller
not a
skating.
runner. I am a wish to be runner. I have tried to take it up multiple times in my life, but my ADHD gets the better of me every time. And I am like, oh, look, a butterfly. Oh, look at this flower. I am more of a pleasant walker, but even a walk in the morning is a great way to get cross lateral movement. Just doing knee taps, laying on your back and tapping your opposite knees, even, is a great way.
Hmm.
um, Spinning activities like hula hooping, just moving around on the floor, getting your body to move, and even just the top moving in a different way as the bottom moving, getting our bodies to move in opposite directions. Any way that you can get that in the morning is the right way to do it. And
Yeah.
same with heavy lifting. Heavy
Ah,
lifting is something that's really, really grounding for our ADHD and autistic brains. And you see more and more research behind heavy lifting. So even doing things like weight training in the morning is a really great way to start your day.
I love weight training, and women our age anyway should be doing that.
Oh,
And
exactly,
they're hearing it
exactly.
more and more nowadays because of menopause and stuff. But I wanted to mention to our audience, those of you in Atlanta, they just opened up a skate ATL. So that would be really nice. I think it's outdoors and indoors, but it's in Chambly. So check that out. They just opened up a couple weeks ago or so, and it's the skateboarding, and that's probably why you see a lot of the kids, especially boys, doing the skateboarding. I'm thinking because they can
Mhm.
maneuver around and
And
kinda
it's
some that are really good
balance.
can spin. What's
It's
that?
also great for balance. Great
Mhm.
for
Oh, yeah.
balance.
That's cool. Yeah, so it's a big deal. Actually, I was gonna contact them. So, how can parents easily add more movement into their child's day? Let's say the kid won't tie it to something so that they can automatically do it, or even the younger ones to get them kinda ready into when they're in middle school and get them doing something early in the morning as a routine. Is that the best way to do it?
I think it is. No matter what, creating a routine is going to be the most functional way to really see the results that you want to see, because it's never going to be magical. Like the first day, it's not going to be like this, like, wow, my life has changed. But after you do it for a few weeks, you start to look back and see, like, oh, wow, my mornings are actually easier. Oh, wow, my child is having an easier time in school. oh, like, and starting to really pay attention to those small changes that you'll start to notice. So, a great way that you can start your day is by creating a playlist with your kids.
Uh,
What songs do we want to play in the morning? What songs can we really wake up to? What makes you want to move? What makes you want to dance? And start doing that, like, playing it on your family speaker and having that motion where the kids can even hear it from their bedroom and think, okay, song number one, this is me. This is me just starting to move in my bed. And now I know that the next thing is coming because at the end of this song, that means my feet are on the ground. And so by having those things that are in place, but it is important for buy-in. So making sure that your kids are part of this routine creation. What is something that you really would like to do in the morning? Hey, balance and cross lateral movement is going to be so great for your brain in the morning. So let's do maybe a family walk in the morning, or
mhm.
let's do this quick family exercise together. Doing everything together does model for your child that this routine is not only good for them, but it's good for you. And that is true. It is good for both of you.
Yeah.
And I understand it's not always realistic to be able to do all of these things with your kids, but even the smallest thing that you can participate in. And
Mhm.
then I'll also say nutrition is also part of this morning. Making sure that you're starting the brain off with what it really needs in its day. I know eggs are something that it's interesting because my whole life, whenever we had a test or a big day, my dad would make eggs in a hole, and he's like, "This is brain food. This is brain food." And now
Mhm.
research has actually come to show that like eggs are one of the most beneficial things for our
Yep,
brains to eat in the morning.
that's right.
So starting
Yeah.
the day with, something with really good brain nutrition is also
Protein,
going to be something that helps.
not
And
sugar.
not sugar. And honestly, that's where waking up a little bit early, being able to actually eat breakfast instead of grabbing a Pop-Tart as you run out onto the bus
Mhm.
is extremely helpful.
Yeah. Even my nutritionist had me change my morning routine to, like, either an egg or
Mhm,
something in a car, whatever, but not even a banana is kinda high in sugar, actually, and she prefers I don't eat that first thing in the morning, mainly because
mhm.
I don't like my body doesn't like sugar a lot, but, push it out a little later. It's a good fruit, but
Yep.
maybe not first thing in the morning. Maybe your kids should take that for lunch and eat that as their fruit for lunch. But I do wanna
Right.
bring up we have something exciting coming up in April. It's going to be a parent power session because I'm seeing a lot of parents asking other parents a lot of questions. So I'm like, well, here we are. We have three experts that are executive functioning coaches in my company. So we're going to do a free what we're calling student success skills like mini workshop online. Be on the lookout. I'll put the link actually in this feed so you guys can get it. And then you just need to register for one of the three or all three sessions. And they're going to be April 14th, 15th, and 16th. Katina is going to be doing the
Mhm.
April 14th at 9:30 a.m. We put them at different times. Crystal will be doing April 15th or actually the 16th at noon, and I'll be doing it at night on the 15th at 7:30. But all you need to do is register so we can get you the link. And we're going to focus more on because we're seeing a lot of children struggling with task initiation, organization, and follow through. Those are probably the three main things. We'll talk and give you a couple tools first 15 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes is Q&A. You can ask us anything you want as parents. So two simple tools in the 30 minutes, a little review of the topic that we've got already scheduled, and a 15-minute live Q&A. Can't beat that. And those are coming up again the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Just register so you can get the link and just jump on with the Zoom link when you get it at those times in those days. So be on the lookout for that. Flyer's almost ready. So, and I
Mhm.
appreciate your time today, Katina. Great,
Oh,
great
yeah,
stuff.
it's been fantastic.
I know we went a little later than usual. Next week, we're going to be talking about habits. Oh, my goodness, and how to strengthen that executive function. So, we kind
Yes.
of touched a little bit about routine today.
Mhm. We'll definitely take a nice deep dive in even how to create that routine, because I
Yeah,
think that becomes the biggest struggle is
how.
how do I make my routine?
Right. Everybody knows do a routine, but we're like, well, how? And then every kid's a little different, right? So
Exactly.
what works for us as adults may not work for your children. Just keep that in mind
Mhm.
because we like to push, no, do the to-do list, but that might not work for your child.
Yep. They're not little adults. I think that's
Right.
the biggest thing to always keep in mind.
Well, thank you again for your time. And everybody, I guess it's Friday. So have a great rest of your weekend in Atlanta. It's beautiful. How about in Crete? Is it nice?
It's actually a bit rainy
Oh,
right
no.
now. Now this morning we had a gorgeous morning, a little afternoon rain. It's clearing up, so it's spring in Greece. We were getting our much needed rain before it dries completely out in the summer. So it's one of those things where like, oh man, the rain, but no, our plants need it. We
That's
don't get any rain in the summer.
funny. Well, thank you. Everybody have a good weekend. Bye for now.
Bye.